I'm Lucas Daggett with Serosia.
And I'm Derek Troxell.
And you're watching Rock City.
Hey, welcome to Rock City. I'm Mark, and I have Derek and Lucas
Hello.
from Serosia. Join me tonight, and you guys have been a little busy recently.
Quite busy. Yeah, we actually just confirmed this tour with Sevendust coming up for the next month, basically, starting early, this month on September 18th, going through to October 10th in Wilmington. And it's going to be a good time. We're really stoked.
And where are you guys kicking off at?
It's going to be at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas.
That is pretty badass.
Yeah.
At the Joint, I'm assuming, which is like the place to see any band in Vegas. You go to the Joint.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Good name.
Hey, right on many levels. I think they had those free there.
Right.
I don't know about that.
I'm sure.
So is this the first time you've traveled with Sevendust before?
With Sevendust, yes. Yeah. Joseph, our bass player, was in Neverset. They did really well regionally, and they did some national tours and jumped on with Sevendust. So he's been out with them. But us as a band, no. This is our first time going out. We've done tours with other bands, but nothing of this caliber, I would say. This is definitely like A-level and exactly what we were looking for as far as like a band to match up with.
Right. Your main support, is that correct?
Main support for most of the dates. The first 3 shows are going to also be with 10 Years. So it's going to be Sevendust, 10 Years, Serosia, and then 2 openers.
Very cool.
So
Very
we're
cool.
slotted really well on every show.
There's great exposure in other markets, kind of open it up, to have everyone else see what you guys do.
Right. Yep.
And how would you describe your music? I mean, I know what I think and heard, which I think is awesome. How would you describe to people that may have not seen you yet?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I think most of the band will agree, and you say whatever you want here, but real and unashamed to be who we are, and just from the heart. I mean, we're all music fans, and we've been playing for all of our lives since we were preteen in bands, and we really feel like we have a good grip on the sound, which is something you can't really put a finger on what it is exactly. Yeah. It's just from the heart, and I tell a lot of people we're really spiritual about our music, and I don't mean like religiously spiritual and stuff like that. I mean like when we play, it comes through us, and you almost can't even put words to what it is. And the 4 of us, just our chemistry together, just one of those things. When you get the right ingredients, you make the right concoction. And with the 4 of us, when we're writing, you can just you can feel it in the room. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah,
it's like soul driven.
Yeah, completely. And when you're onto something, you feel it. And just on an offshoot, we're on a new song right now, and I feel like every new song that we do is the best song that we've ever written. That's how we feel collectively.
Well, that's the way it should be, you should just go with nope.
Yeah.
So.
And this song is like that. It's like we wrote it, me and Derek got together, and we just that day had a certain vibe, sat down, and 30 minutes later we had about 3/4 of the song done, and it was just so easy to do. We were on the same wavelength, showed the rest of the guys, and they were like, perfect.
Nice.
And making music, having done it for so long, it's not that easy to make a good song. You can kind of kid yourself and be like, oh, that was good, and just kind of dick around, But no, that's how we do it from the heart, and 100%. Like everyone agrees it's good or it doesn't make the cut.
Well, it's chemistry too. I mean, obviously you guys have worked together for a while, and so that, I mean, you guys
6.5 years, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that
it's been a long time.
You guys kind of know each other, and in a very musical sense, and so you know where things kind of line up, and you guys could, play off each other and kind of go from there. I think that's a huge
definitely
huge plus.
Definitely huge. And you're right. And we're noticing that more and more every day. The bigger things are happening for us, the more we're relying on each other to, hold your end up. Mm-hmm. And just recently, it's just been apparent that we rely so much on each other to create what it is that is Serosia, because it isn't one of us, it isn't 2/3. I mean, it isn't 2/4. It's all of us. Yep. And recently it's been pretty awesome to see everybody coming together now that we're stepping it up to the next level. So we're really excited about that.
And are you ever? I mean, going on a tour like this, that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to open up. And you're kind of focusing on the West Coast this time, is that correct?
It
More
starts
Midwest.
We would like. I would say this. We would like to hit the West Coast hard on a tour. That was our ideal thing. We've always felt like we were really West Coast sound, but we're gonna start heading that way. And basically, it's just a big circle, and we come back around to Texas.
Oh, cool.
So we're gonna cover a lot of ground.
Now you're on your. How many albums have you done so far?
This is our 4th.
And you guys, am I correct? You did that in May. Is that right? Or started in May?
The most recent record?
Yeah.
Yes, May of 2012.
Okay.
And it was May, right?
Yeah.
May, June. We were there for 3 weeks or so in Jersey. We recorded it with Sound Wars, which is our manager Christian Machado from El Nino, and Laz, the bass player.
Which is huge. That's
huge.
Yeah. We both know that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually
always been fans of them. So
all of us.
Natural. Natural for us.
We dropped our first record in 2007, and they contacted us on MySpace of all places.
When MySpace was still around
at that time, and we had a pretty big clout on there. We had like 1.3 million profile views, and at the time that was like big stuff. So I guess they had seen that, heard the music, really liked it, contacted us through a personal message. We went from there. They wanted to do our second record, but we had already kind of invested some time into talking to a different company that was actually down the street from them in Jersey, which they
crazy. It's like
resent a little.
It's like 5 minutes away from them. So.
Really?
Yeah, one's in Jersey City, the other one's in Hoboken, and so it started back then, and we built a nice rapport with them. And then over the years, every time they come to Dallas, we pretty much we open for them. And then the opportunity came up to where the funds were available that we could drive to Jersey, do this record, have Christian produce it. And then from there, at first it was never like, you're going to manage us, or he said, I'm going to manage you. There was none of that. But the vibe was there that he felt like a fifth member of the band. Once we got out there and he started producing and stuff, he started really working for us without asking, really, which is something you want in a person who's like an international star.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
just kind of goes in and does it.
Yeah, and we were like, take whatever lead you want out of that, and then as things started to progress, it eventually became, you're our manager, and he's aware of that, and it's been really cool, man. It's been a major help, and without that, we would still be on track to be kicking ass. But it's definitely one of those things. If you can, that's good advice for a band coming up. If you can get in good with a band that is likewise to what you do, then there's that person that can be there that take you to that next level. I mean, we didn't think back then that Christian Machado was going to take us on. You know what I mean? That wasn't what we were thinking. It wasn't even on our radar. But now it's happening, and it's been like one of the biggest things for us. So
it's a big bump.
Big.
Yeah. Yep. Now, obviously, you had met him after you got out to New Jersey. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More or less. So, being based in Dallas, what made you guys go out to Jersey, which is a totally different? I mean, that's big drive or a flight for a record.
Yeah.
Was there a reason for that?
I mean, the chemistry was there. We were already talking online. He dug our songs. It was natural to do it. I mean, he was a fan of us. We're a fan of him, and that's what it is.
I think getting outside Texas too, the headspace just being completely. We were secluded from family, friends, and anybody interrupting us. And it's not like we don't like talking to our family and stuff, but there's a time and a place for everything. And the time and place was to record the record and to be 100% in it. And those sessions were, they were super emotional. We were in the moment as much as you can be.
Comfortable too, you know what I mean? He made us feel at home. Came in, we already kind of did some pre-pro with him before, and it was the whole thing's natural, you know. I mean, it was just it was the easiest record to record, and it was the most fun album to record.
You know, and I'm guessing that is even more so a better experience than some people have, like when they go in and record and they have a lot of tension in you know, the room, where you go in there and have fun.
There was none at all. I mean, we went in there, we practiced our parts, and I mean, they were most things we just one take, you know. I mean,
that's cool.
It was funny too, because like you just said, there is normally tension. I mean, that's almost
Normally,
up until this record. Every album we've done, like I'll walk in the room, and there's been albums Derek just doesn't allow anybody in the room.
Man.
He's sitting there, and you walk in, he's like,
I'm just like, leave me alone.
This record, I remember
like this, but this, I mean, it's just like, just walk into the room, just
I walked in a couple times, and he's just sitting on the couch, just playing, chilling, and it's loud, and I'm like, sounds good, and he's like, I'm recording right now. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's the way it should be. I mean, you know, I think that comes across also in the record. And, you know, the vibe.
Yeah.
I think people, I mean, I think it's very, I mean, even, you know, people don't know what goes behind the scenes, but I think you can feel that when you listen to an album, you know, you listen to a Zeppelin album, like back in the day, and you know they all are just like, you know.
Zoned in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's the best answer to the question. We wanted to get away from comfort and just be four guys with a plan, with a goal, and achieve that goal.
Yeah.
Without distractions.
Without any distractions. Right. And we really did. And I mean, you hear it from your family and your girlfriends and all that stuff, like, well, you're just going to party when you're out there. And it's like, no, this is really actually a job. It's like, and I equate it to all the time, like, growing up, I worked in, like, vet clinics. So is my brother. He's worked around animals, too.
Yep.
And I always equate it to, like, being in a band is like going to college to be a veterinarian. And for the 6 or 7 years you're in college, you're not a veterinarian. You're doing what you can to survive. And then finally, after all that time, you become who you want. And I think I relate that to being in a band to, we've spent all this time building our name. And now it's like, we get to that point where it's like, now we're a band. We're a real band now. You know what I mean? It's like, because on a national scale, we're seen as a new band. And that's hilarious because we've been a band for like 7 years and hitting at it. But, you know, we're cool with that as long as people hear us.
You know, and it's funny you said that because, you know, Godsmack was like that.
Right.
They'd been around for quite some time, and, you know, Sully had this big past with other bands, and then they, you know, oh, this brand new band. It's like, no, not really.
Right.
You know, and which is good because you want to have, you know, they say new bands, but you're seasoned.
Yep.
And you go out there and you guys can kick ass live and also on an album.
Yep.
And then people get to go back and listen to the stuff that you guys had prior to them knowing who you were, which is fun for the fan and also for you guys too, kind of revisit that stuff.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, with bands like, I always go back to talking about the Deftones because they were just such a huge influence, you know. But
probably the biggest influence on our band. So
listening to their demos before they got signed and stuff like that is pretty cool. You know, you're just like, okay, it's crazy they were that, and then Adrenaline came out, they became that. It's like, that makes sense, but it's just to hear it, you're just like, wow, you know, you get the chills.
Right? Yeah, I mean, because they went from a totally different level to like boom,
yeah. And they did it right too, and they've sustained that because they stay true to what they are, and they continue to grow as a band rather than stay stale. And you know, they do exactly what our business model would be. I would say you just make the music you like before anybody else, and the masses are gonna follow suit if they're really a fan of your band.
Yeah, that's so correct because especially the Deftones, they have never changed their style.
Yeah.
As far as they keep true who they are. They don't try to be commercial.
Right.
They go out there. They do. You know, even when the Chino passed.
Or Chi
passed. I mean, they got another bass player. I'm sure it was a really difficult time for them, but they kept, you know, going on, and they did what they do.
Yeah, and that's one of those situations where normally, I mean, even a bass player in the Deftones, anybody, they had that chemistry to where they sounded that way because of the members in their band. I don't know how it happened that they got Sergio Vega in that band and it ended up being just as good.
It did.
I couldn't believe it, you know?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, the Deftones and Quicksand have always been friends, and it was, for Sergio to come in and just for the band just to keep going up and up, because I think their last 2 albums, been amazing.
They're
I mean,
phenomenal.
Yeah, and
when Diamond Eyes came out, we were all just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and the coolest thing about those albums is they're like going back to their roots, and but they're like still, you know, creating something new. You know what I mean? That's gonna stand the test of time. You know?
Yeah.
I
Classic
agree.
stuff.
It's not. Yeah, it's just not this trend. You know, it's just very great music. You know, that's all I can say.
So who else has influenced you besides Deftones?
Me vocally, Brandon Boyd and Incubus, majorly. I grew up on them, just like Deftones. I mean, kind of similar time when I found them. Metallica was the first. I was a guitar player before I was a singer.
Oh,
and I learned every Metallica song.
That's tough.
I'm not even. I would sit there for hours at 12, 13. Matter of fact, when I was going through like this little time capsule I opened up from like 5th grade. I remember 5th or 6th grade, something like that. I was really young. I opened up this little time capsule, and inside of it, there's this like record, and it says favorite band, favorite song, and it says in really horrible handwriting, Metallica with the little logo on the M and the,
Right.
and the A. Nothing else matters.
Nice,
and I was like,
nice.
they were that big of an influence to me where it overtook my life for a little while. I was deep into Metallica, and then kind of got out of it as I found bands like Deftones and Incubus and Glassjaw and all that. The screaming thing, at first, to me, I was just like kind of taken back a little, and I was like, I really like that aggression. It's kind of changed now that everybody's just like rah rah all the time, and that's not really our thing. But for me, that's mine.
I'd definitely say for me it'd be Adam Jones, Tool.
Nice.
I mean, he's just a very, he's original as fuck, and I mean, very spiritual, atmospheric, you know. I'd say that, obviously, Deftones, I would say Stefan, that's had a major influence on me. I'd say even like one of my first albums I really got into as far as being heavy, I would say Helmet, Meantime.
Nice, yeah.
Page Hamilton just really nailed that, you know, that drop tune sound, you know, and it just moved me, you know. So I'd say those are my main influences for starting to play. So
very cool, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys had a pretty big gig yesterday, right?
Yeah, last night we did Trees with Nonpoint.
Nice.
And it was live up there. It got live.
We were throwing it down.
We were throwing it down.
Thumbs up to that.
Very cool.
But no, yeah, the crowd was, you know, we played early, and the crowd came out early. We did excellent as far as crowd participation as early as it was, and actually got a text about an hour after we played from Christian, and he was like, why am I in New Jersey and I know that you guys had a killer show? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, the Nonpoint guys just hit me up and they were like, your boys just blew it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking hardcore, man.
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
they shouted us out, and it was cool. It was cool. Definitely felt good, because Nonpoint's another one of those bands. I can't say they were like the most influential band, but I remember getting a 2-song sampler CD of the song Back Up and What a Day. Anthony, my brother, the drummer, brought it to me after school one day. He was like, I found this band, Nonpoint. I was like, all right, whatever. And we listened to it, and from then I've been a fan ever since that little sampler. So last night was pretty cool, because that's the first time I've had a chance to play with them.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk to them afterwards?
Actually, I talked
to,
to, and unfortunately the new members, I don't remember their names, and that sucks to say, but I talked to the short curly-haired guitar player, and he was super cool. Actually, we got each other's contact information. I'm gonna hit him up, because he just had great things to say about us, and he said, you know, we reminded him of the band he was in before he joined Nonpoint. And you talked to the other guitar player.
I don't remember his name, but I talked to the black dude. He was really cool.
Yeah,
he was
dreads. He was awesome.
He was extremely nice, and he was talking about our band, and he was looking forward to possibly doing some things with us in the future. So,
Dude, that's awesome.
Yep.
I mean, what a great. I mean,
it was a great night. I mean, the vibe all night. The other two bands we had never actually seen or heard, and they just the night went well. And when it meshes well, like across the board, you can't ask for more. The fans really appreciate that, and the merch, like. Our merch area, you saw it. It was blowing up. It was a madhouse out there last night.
Get out of here! Too many people. No,
that's what you want, though. You know, like we want to create that spectacle, and we we like to just, once we finish playing, as soon as, venue depending, once we get that equipment off, we're at the merch table, all of us. And anybody that wants pictures or anything like that, we're accessible,
That's cool.
And it's hard to do that with 4 guys that are being pulled this way and that way. And like last night, being at home, tons of your friends are there too on top of it. And they're just like standing in front of the merch table, just like, so when are we gonna hang out? It's like, can you move? Because we're gonna sell some CDs here.
We'll talk later, right?
Yeah, it's like, yep.
Right.
But it was cool. Everybody was cool, and
a lot of high fives just all night.
A lot of high fives, a lot of drinking.
My hand hurts.
So, right.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, well, thanks again for coming out, man, and tell us the name of the latest album.
Variables.
Where you can get it.
Variables. You can get it on iTunes. Just look us up, Serosia. You can also get it through serosiaband.com, our website. And we've been doing like free giveaways of song downloads recently. So add us on Facebook. That's really big. That's where our main business comes from. So add us on Facebook and, keep an eye out for us because we're going to hit the national scene a big way here in just a couple weeks.
And if you're in Vegas, September 18th, is that correct?
Let's throw it down.
At the Joint.
Yeah.
That's right. Cool.
Yep.
Well, thanks again for coming on.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man.
You're welcome.
Go check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/SerosiaBand, also serosiaband.com. We've got our Sevendust tour coming up. It's going to start on September 18th at the Hard Rock, Las Vegas, and it finishes up in Wilmington, North Carolina, October 10th. Until then, peace out, guys. Thanks for listening.